Hi, today we'll be talking about replacing capacitors in your old consoles or computers or electronics or recapping. So what I'll be using as an example is this PC Engine. This is the one that I've been working on installing Turbonanza, and just have a look in the description. I'll post the link to the original video. And I'll be replacing capacitors on this console. Again, I'll be talking about recapping in general, so it'll apply to pretty much every single console or computer or piece of electronics. So I'll have the caps that I need for the PC Engine. I have, as you can see, I have quite a lot of caps, so I'm not using like pre-made kits. But if you have one console or not too many consoles, and you don't have a stash of capacitors of different values and etc., then I highly recommend Console 5. I'll post the link there. They have ready-made kits, and they have really great documentation on pretty much every single console that you can imagine. So they have kits, pre-made kits for those. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I have no affiliation with them at all. It's just I've used them from time to time for kind of rarish consoles, and I use them quite a lot for the documentation. So yeah, I'll post the link down there. So what I'll do, I'll disassemble this, and again, look at the previous video. It's just removing these screws and then removing this top part there. I'll disassemble that, and we'll go under the microscope, and I'll show you how to desolder or remove capacitors. Okay, so I disassembled everything. I've also removed the this DIN connector from right here, and I will have to desolder this cable because it will be in the way of some capacitors. So as you can see, Turbonanza is right here. Let me just give a brief overview of what's involved. So there is a few options when it comes to desoldering capacitors. First of all, one of them is just heating up both legs or one of the legs and just wiggling the cap. So like this one, for example, you can heat up one of these legs here and then heat up one and kind of bend it to one side, then heat up the other one, bend it to the other side, and do it kind of continuously until you can actually remove the cap. So that's one way. It's not the best way of doing this because you can damage things. So that's one option. The other option is, and let me pull out my desoldering gun, which is right there. You can use any desoldering gun. So this is probably the best option. So just kind of heat up, and I have a video on desoldering, so I'll post it in the description as well. I'm using this, so on using this. So just briefly, just don't push towards the board because you can damage the pad. Just gently put it over the pin, heat it up for like a second, move around with the pin so that you can feel the pin is moving, and then press the button and suck the solder, and that should be it. Again, very important, don't push, just gently, barely touch the pad, just put it over the pin, let it heat for a second or so, move around for another second so that you can feel the pin is moving, suck the solder, and go back. So that's the other option. Now, another option is low melt solder. Put some low melt solder on both pins, and then you can easily pull more or less easily pull the cap. All these options are valid and you can use them, but on some devices like this one in particular, or older devices where these caps or the components were soldered manually, most of the time, I'm not sure if you can see, I'll show it under microscope, these pins have been bent. So, and that is a problem because you can't easily use this because the pin is bent, so you would have to like go there from this side or from one side, heat it up, then try to bend it back, and then you can damage the pad potentially. I don't recommend doing this. Pulling it like with the first option where you just hold it and just heat up one or both legs and try to pull it, also very tricky because again these pins are bent, so you can easily damage the board. And in this particular case with PC Engine, don't do that because you will damage pads. These pads are very, very fragile. So if you try to heat it up for a long time and then pull it, this you will pull the whole pad, entire pad, including parts of on this side. And I'm not sure if you can see, again, I'll show you that under the microscope. The solder here is, well, whoever was soldering that was really good because the solder is on both sides, so it will be really, really hard to do it. And believe me, I did that on one of my first PC engines that I had, and it damaged a few pads. I fixed it, but again, not really worth it. So another, and probably, well, the last option is, if you can, get in with flash cutters like these ones, and I recommend good ones. Don't use the like high profile, the low profile pliers, and I'll post the link to these ones. These are quite expensive, but they are very good. Just get in there and cut it. Cut it as close, maybe from this side if you can, with the flat part up, so that you have enough, or you have some of this pin remaining. You can then use it to pull the whole thing. Don't worry, you can actually work from this side as well, and I'll show, or this side, sorry, and I'll show you that under the microscope. It's just kind of brief overview. So again, in this case, in the PC Engine case, or some of the Ataris, I think the older Ataris like 600 XL, they also have those pins bent. They are actually better, so you can pull them, but this PC Engine, no, not really. So again, I don't recommend doing this. So my recommendation when it comes to PC Engine, on if you're not sure if you can't use this, the soldering gun, if you can't, excuse me, if you're not sure, just cut the legs off, and then you can desolder them with just the soldering iron, and you can desolder them one by one, and I'll show you that under the microscope in a minute. So yeah, that's again the options that you have. Again, in my opinion, PC Engine, the best way, cut off, and there's quite a lot of capacitors here, and as you can see, again, this board is quite small, and there's like quite a lot of caps right here on this side. There's just a few on this side, but again, you can we'll cut them off, and then desolder them, and I'll show you that. I'll just switch to the microscope, and we'll start doing it. Okay, so again, this is the PC Engine, as you can see. We'll start, I'll show you maybe these two caps. There's quite a lot on this side, but again, the procedure is exactly the same. So as you can see, we have those two caps. One is 16 volt, 10 microfarads, and the other one is, let me adjust maybe the focus if I can, 14 microfarads, 16 volts. This one right here. So what I'll do, and this will be tricky, let me pull it up a little bit so that you can see it, maybe like this. Yeah, that should work. So what I'll do, I'll just go from underneath, and again, just my recommendation, if you're doing this, make sure you make notes where each capacitor is on this board. As you can see, one thing that you have to take care of is the positive and negative. So as you can see, there's positive right here, and all the caps on PC Engine are actually marked, so you'll have no problem putting it back. But on some boards, this is not kind of marked on the silk screen, so make sure you know where the positive and negative side is. So the negative side is right here with this strip. So this is minus, and that one there. So make sure you make notes, make sure you know which capacitor, the value of the cap, so 47 microfarads in this case, and 16 volts. This can be higher, you can make it like more, 50 even volts, it doesn't really matter. But make sure you make notes the value, voltage, and the where is the plus and where's the minus. So yeah, make sure you make notes. Or as I said, use console 5, but check if your console, if your particular motherboard revision is there in the documentation, because they have pretty much everything. So what I'll do, I'll try to come from this side again with the flash cutters. As you can see, they fit nicely. If that doesn't work, you can always go the other side, so the flat part towards the board. That will also work. You can still remove the remaining pins. So let's cut it off. This one's cut. And then let's do this one. That's gone. As you can see, 2 pins left. And let's do the other one while we're at it. So I'll do exact same thing. So I'll cut this. It will be tricky because I don't want to damage this ribbon cable. So done and done. So both of these are now removed. Where's the other cap? There. So I've removed that. Let me adjust focus again. Go back slightly closer to the board so that you can see it. Right there. So this is where those caps were. And as you can see, there's plus, plus. So we know how they go. And these are the caps that I just removed. Oops. So I'll put them aside. And now, what I do, and again, this PC engine is tricky because there's that ribbon cable, and it's quite fragile. I don't want to break it. So maybe let's try it like that. And I will have to adjust focus again. So we were on this side, and those caps were right here. So where am I? So this is one cap that I removed, and the other is right here. So I removed these 2 caps. So what I do now is first of all, I'll add some flux. This one, C117. I'll add some flux, and I'll add flux to the other one while I'm at it. Right there. I'll add some fresh solder, unleaded solder. Sorry, leaded solder. Don't use unleaded if you can. So go here, add some fresh solder, like that, and I'll do the same thing on this side. Just like that. And now use very thin something that you can hold it with that you can hold these pins with. And what I'll do, I'll just come here, just try to grab the remains of that pin, heat it up, and just pull it out. Oops, it's gone already, but it's not here. So it has been removed. Again, this can be tricky sometimes, but let's take it from this. Obviously, I can move the board around, but I can do it like that. So heat it up, just pull it out. Another one, and there, I have it. I got it. Right there. Removed. So, and then make sure keep the board clean. Make sure you have all these remains, because you don't want any of these left on the board and causing shorts. So yeah, that's also very important. So now, let's say that you can't grab one. So let's say this one is kind of tricky. Or this one. There's not enough kind of space to hold it. So what you can do, just heat it up like that, and just try and push it to the other side of the board. I'll do the same thing here. So I'll just hit it. Actually, this one is plenty of space, I think. So let me try come from this side. Should be able to. This one is bent, so if it's bent, straighten it up. As you can see, it's now straight, and I pushed it back. So okay, so I'll do the same thing. Just heat it up and just push it back there, like that. And then I'll just flip the board, and this is right here. Let me adjust the focus. So we are on this side, and these are the, you can clearly see, I hope, these pins. Let me again adjust the focus if I can. As you can see, there's now a lot of material to hold on to on this side. These two pins, I pushed them to this side. So now it'll be easy from this side. So again, grab it. You can see it now. Grab it, heat it up. You can heat it up from either side. There. You can, if there's no solder on this side, you can either add solder on this side, or if there's no pad on some single layer boards, there may be no pad in here, so you won't be able to heat it up from this side, but you can always just grab it from there, from this side, and heat it up from the other side, and it will come off as well. So that's gone. Let's remove the other one. So heat it up, make sure the solder is melted. It should come off very easily. Don't use force. If you heat it up, it will come off really, really easy. Like no force at all. It should essentially fall off by itself. You just help it with this. So that's pretty much it. And there's no point for me to do all the remaining caps right here. There's a lot of them, but the procedure is exactly the same. So the last thing, remaining thing, is to remove this. Sorry about the focus, but again, this cable prevents me to lay the board flat, so the focus changes. So the last thing is to remove the remains of the solder, because you'll need to install new cap in this place. So either use wick, or I use, because it's easier for me, I use the soldering gun, which you won't see. There you go. So this time it'll be easy because there's no pad, no pin. So just heat it up and pull. That's all. And I'll show you that in a minute. I'll just turn on my the soldering gun. But the other option, if you don't have the soldering gun, just add some fresh flux. And let me show you that. Add some fresh flux. Add some fresh solder. That always helps. So I'll add fresh solder to both. Just like that. Move it around. Don't push on the pad. Just barely touch it. Move it around. And then use wick. So like that. Right there. And it's empty. All is left is the flux. So the other one. Is it empty? Probably not. Let me just see. So this one is kind of stubborn. Yeah. So there's still stuff on the other side. Sometimes it's easier to go and do it from the other side and the focus again. As you can see, there's some solder left right here. So do the same thing. Add some fresh solder to this side. Just like that. I should have used my fume extractor. And do the same thing from this side and it should come off. Sorry about the phone. There. So it's empty. Okay, sorry about that. So again, these two holes are now empty, so we can install new cap right here. So let's do the other two. So this one's right here, but we'll do it from the other side. So from here, and again that focus is annoying, to say the least. Right there. So this is the other cap, and let's use my soldering gun. So again, just the soldering gun there. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to see anything really, but so again, don't push, never ever push, just touch it lightly, let it melt, and it's done. And the other one, let it melt, and it's done. So that's how we do it. As I said, and again, just to prove that these are empty, just right there. So the caps have been desoldered. Again, I find it to be the easiest way and most reliable. There's no risk of destroying the board, PC Engine, I mean. So that would be my recommendation. Cut them off, and then desolder the pins or legs one by one. As you saw, it's very easy. You can do it with just the iron. You don't really need the soldering gun, because again, you can easily desolder or remove the remaining solder with the wick. And again, don't push on the PC Engine, especially on most of the electronics, all the electronics. These parts are very fragile on both sides, so don't push. Even if you're using the soldering braid or solder wick, don't push too much with the solder. Obviously, you have to kind of push it so that it touches, but don't try and squeeze it like into this hole. Don't do that. Just use flux, use fresh solder, and try and desolder it, and it will work. If it won't work from one side, go to the other side, do the same exact thing, and it will eventually work. So yeah, that's how we do it. As I said, there's no point for me to do every single one. As for the putting back caps, again, make sure you have the correct the plus where the plus goes and the minus where the minus goes, and that's it. Use your notes, use Console 5 documentation or any other documentation that you have. Make sure you put them right. Double check, triple check if you have them in the right position, or the legs, the plus where it should be, because you'll see magic smoke. Best case scenario, they will blow up. So yeah, the caps, I mean. So yeah, that's how we do it. So that's all for today. Hopefully that was useful. I'll do something else next time. Just a reminder, the countdown to Christmas and the subscribers is counting. So yeah, please subscribe if you like my videos, and hopefully we'll have a giveaway right after Christmas. Thank you very much.